The Expendables is a pretty damn good series for the first couple little bit, and then arguably a few movies, or one or two, depending on who you ask. But they came out with the fourth movie, and it is a fucking shit show. And I can't even begin to explain how fucking stupid it gets. So strap on in. But actually, it reached its pinnacle with Chuck Norris, as we all know. So I mean, that's as best as Expendables ever got. But this is Expendables 4. Now this movie starts off with this fucking ridiculous scene and all this tanks and fucking in like Iraq, and it's utter over the top stupidity right off the bat. But the action scenes are somewhat strangely enjoyable. It's a mostly forgettable scene where we're introduced to the villain, and there's really no really rhyme or reason for it, and it moves on quickly as it started. And oh god, does this cringe start off quickly with old Slyster on with a fucking cigar on a motorcycle and everything. the ultimate, the ultimate hardened man, wet dream. And then you meet Jason Statham at his Stathamist, where he's dating Megan Fox, who's just an absolute floozy in this, and it's hilarious seeing Jason Statham in movies because for some strange reason, Jason Statham is good in no matter what he does, no matter how bad the movie is, no matter how stupid the plot is, no matter how fucked up and dumb the story is. It doesn't matter because Jason Statham's awesome and you're always rooting for him. And it almost seems like in this movie that they want to make Jason Statham awesome. And the overtly try attempts at this are to flash the ungodliness of having fucking Megan Fox on his side at all times. And Megan Fox is the absolute dumb bitch that you'd always expect her to be. And ooh, look at the way her tits sag down at this one scene here. I'd like to point out this she looks like a used tampon. It's hilarious. And you know what? I would probably still if I was him too. But geez, man, she's been around. And it only gets worse from here. The cringe doesn't stop as they go into the hardened dude bro biker bar or whatever. And yeah, of course Jason Statham takes on some fucking people who we could never ever ever take out in real life. But he somehow does it because he's Jason Statham. And of course Sylvester Stallone wins the day in the end, as always. And you know what? You have to root for him because it's Sylvester Stallone. He's awesome. And I just wish that they would have a little bit better writing here. You know, how fucking stupid is it? How dumb is it? How fucking absurd is this plot? Like, imagine if they actually did this right. But in some ways, you almost kind of like it because it's so absurd and so stupid. They just went absolutely over the top with it. So you finally get to a whole bunch of characters like Couture, who's actually likable, and of course Lundgren, who's amazing too in this. Dolph, the guy who is actually they're all pretty likable, and as much as the four of them are as much likableness as you're gonna get out of this. They're good actors. They know what they're in for. They play the part perfectly. They're just good actors, you know. They know what they do. They master their craft, and they play into it. And the expressions and stuff on their face fits perfectly because well they're great actors and they are enjoyable to watch no matter how much stupidity is going on in front of you. And that leaves us to one of the more likable additions to the Expendables, and an actor I'm quite fond of myself, and that is nothing more than 50 Cent Jackson himself. And he is quite spectacular in this as well. He's hilariously out of place and pretty much like doesn't fit the part at all, but he just plays it so hilariously, and it's so ridiculous seeing him in these scenes and watching him play out this that it almost brings a tear to your heart. And as if he was, he's just right off the bat, he's just a fucking asshole to everybody, the whole team. And somehow he's still likable. It's 50 Cent, Curtis Jackson, an asshole, but still likable because the ultimate gangster or something. What a fucking hilarious dude. So all these idiots get on a plane, of course, and they fly off to a mission to avenge something or something, and you really don't have to worry about the plot too much because it doesn't really matter anyway. It's just complete, absolute dumb fun, and there's the quintessential, like, sitting in a fucking aircraft carrier talking about fucking dicks and balls and, ooh, I wonder if she'll show me my titties later. Jeez. It's too much. And of course, as soon as they land, it's Call of Duty Black Ops 5, and they almost have to think at some point if they do a promotional, like, why have they not made a Expendables game yet? And it fits so well into gaming, but then again, it's such a stupid and absurd plot. It's like a game. It's one of those movies where you have to just like go across all the absurd action because there's just so fucking much of it that you really does wear on you quite thinly. But kudos for them to making action movie because it is quite nice to see the action play. But that doesn't make up for the fact that it's an absolutely stupid fucking plot. And one of the examples here is when fucking Sly himself appears to die, and I had to do a double take on this because I wasn't really paying too much attention to the movie at this point. But I just fucking glanced over and I was like, wait, what? They just killed off Sylvester Stallone. I was like, oh yeah, he's getting old. Yeah, it goes. But we'll wait. We'll get to the end part here because the fun does not end here as far as the plot. Okay, so then Statham gets kicked off the fucking team and bangs fucking Megan Fox. And by this point, we're kind of thinking to ourselves, we're like, well, wait a second. So he's kicked off the team, and there's doing this. What? They're not the Expendables anymore because there's no Sylvester Stallone. There's no fucking anything. There's now 50 Cent and Megan Fox in here. It's just become like a stupid 18-year-old kid's birthday party in this fucking joint. But I think the sheer audacity of the cringe in this movie is its most entertaining factor. I mean, there's this one scene where fucking Statham is at this grimy fucking influencer party, and he just beats him up at the end. It's just so random. It's so left field, so left field. And you know what? This is one of those movies that's particularly. It's just so bad. It's so terrible that it's actually quite enjoyable. And it's a fucking trash movie, and it makes me think that the first three movies were good, and then this one was just a comedy one of a comedy parody of the normal series. Now, there are a few likable characters in this shitstorm. Actually, Andy Garcia, who's always been a pretty awesome actor, is splendid in this movie. And every time he's in the scene, he just, for the very short amount of time he's in it, he just steals the show. And people say he's a bad villain. I loved him. I loved him in a lot of the movies that he's in, and he's an old school gangster kind of character. So I think he's fun to see, he's fun to watch. So that, besides all the other bullshit going on in this movie, hilariously, he's actually pretty enjoyable to watch. Now, in terms of stupid design choices, besides locking up the main cast in this steel, drab, horrible looking fucking submarine tank type area, this is part of the design choices. Part of the movie that they actually like spend a lot of time in is just this ugly fucking factory shit. And for a movie with so much acting talent and so much money churned into it, you would think that they would be at the fucking Ritz Carlton having Megan Fox finger banging the other fucking woman. Like, I mean, like they just went. It seems like they poured all the movie into star power, and then they just threw them in a fucking gas tank for fucking an hour and a half. But oh, do we get to see some Stathaming here? Because Statham is at his most Stathamist. And like I said earlier, he's fucking entertaining to watch. Everything he's in, he's cool to watch him do acting. I bet you it's stunt double. I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. But he's such a good actor and such a wicked thing to watch. And it's proof with this and the Meg, they could just throw him in any kind of fucking bullshit and it'd be entertaining and people will buy it. The sheer veracity of the action and the 50 centing and the rap music and the yo-yoing and the Megan Fox's ass and titties hanging out is just, it's too much to bear. And it's one of those movies where I would have hated to watch this movie with my fucking parents. Well, they're back in the tank again, and then now they have to walk through Randy Couture's piss to get out of the locked cell they're in. And 50 Cent is probably asking his agent how much more minutes he has to actually work on this movie for. But he's putting in a little bit of decent action talent despite having to crawl through piss. And that's like pretty much the underline of this movie is that you have to crawl through piss to get to the other side. Gotta say the villain is so unlikable. I don't know who is in real life. If he's an MMA fighter, if he's some Instagram star, I don't know. I don't care. He's not likable. He's not a good actor, and he's the most unthreatening villain that could ever be. Like you couldn't think of a like I wouldn't be scared of this guy. All the big tough hooligans we've seen thus far in this movie, and this guy's the worst there is. And they're still stuck on this fucking tanker. And then, I was playing games while I was watching this shit, and I was looking over, and I was just like, how could someone sit through this in a movie? Like, it's an entertaining feat to watch this, and this is why I'm making this for the world. Is hopefully, is if someone looks back and sees this is you don't have to watch this movie. You can just watch it short a little bit. But I would encourage you to watch the movie because it is a good, stupid, fun movie. Although the part with the tanker is the fucking brutalest loss that they did. And 50 Cent makes it out of there without a scratch. And uh, also, the team saves the day, and they're all one big happy family again. You know what they feel like? I feel like they're the most dysfunctional Expendables they have ever been. You know when they were the best? They were the best when Chuck Norris was on the team. Yes, that's right. Chuck Norris brought the Expendables together, and now that they're out, they're fucking out. These idiots, they got rid of Chuck Norris. He fucking knows. He just knows the Expendables. He made the Expendables. They were never stronger than when they had Chuck Norris. And it just goes on and on and on with this tanker, and Jason Statham's just boat fucking the shit out of the goddamn tanker still to try and get off the ship and go bone Megan Fox. By the end of the movie, you just stop caring. Despite all these actors, despite all this time wasted on this fucking movie, you just sit there and wonder to yourself, be like, what did I really just watch? Is this good? Am I entertained? And of course, at the end, they all get together for a big party talking about sticking their fingers up each other's butts and shit like that. It's an awkward movie, and it's an awkward situation with all these people walking around, 50 Cent, and Jason Statham, and that. It's almost like the big family of entertainment that never was or never should be. It's such a random concoction of actors, and I think that's what the original movies were all about. Will they do another movie? Did this movie bomb at the box office? Probably. I don't know. It wasn't a great movie. It was just something that existed. The part with fuck, I didn't even mention the part where Sylvester Stallone just comes back randomly from the fucking dead. 50 Cent, of course, makes out without a scratch, as are do many of the other actors. It's just, it's just the most retarded fun. Why does something like this exist? But then again, why does anything exist? It's cringe. It's hard cringe. It hits you right in the cringe muscle. It just like extrudes cringe all over your fucking face. Just a big cringe shot. right in the fucking face from 50 Cent. All over Megan Fox. It's a fucking big cringe shot. And that's the Expendables 4. Oh yeah, 4. Yeah, okay, it is 4. On a side note, how the fuck did they not see him jump out of Sylvester Stallone jump out of the fucking airplane and not get caught? They just casually didn't see like, oh my god, he's in the plane. Didn't see a plane. Yeah, this fucking movie is fucking hilarious. I'd check it out. Expendables 4. a fucking dumb, retarded, but hilariously entertaining fucking movie that just exists. It doesn't fucking exist, and it's kind of pointless, but it exists.